There are too many times when we become aware of a limiting thought, we continue thinking it. And the limiting belief is nothing more than a practiced thought.
Are you ready to take the next best step toward creating a life by design?
Do you feel like there is something more for you, but you're not sure how to get to it?
Welcome to the Momentum Podcast. I'm Molly, your health and mindset coach.
And I'm Lena, your money manifestation coach.
We're here to help women like you, whether you're building a business, scaling a side hustle, or crushing it in your career, take actionable steps towards the life you've always envisioned.
If you're ready to stop playing small and step confidently into the life you're meant to live,
join us on this journey of growth, alignment, and unstoppable momentum. Let's take the next best step together. Welcome back, everyone. We're glad you're here. Today, Lena and I are talking about the power of intention setting, how it differs from goal setting, the energetics behind intentions, and how to release the how so that you can create your life by design and not by happenstance. Before we dive in, I want to make sure that we get aligned on a common definition of intention. And I've done a little research here, and this one, this definition I really love. So the main difference between intentions and goals are that intentions are broad visions aligned with our personal values and purpose. Goals are specific, future-oriented milestones. You need both, right? So you need short-term focused goals and long-term focused intentions to navigate your way to success, however you define that. So for example, your intention could be to be calmer, but your goal is to meditate for 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week at 8 a.m., right? So you can see that the outcome, the intention is to be calmer, but how you get there is the goal. So Lena, I want to turn it over to you because you're the energetics guru here. I want to understand, what are the energetics behind setting intentions?
Thank you, Molly. And before we jump in, I just have to ask the listeners, how many of you at this point have given up on your New Year resolutions? I gotta tell you, that is mainly because those New Year resolutions are goals. They're like little milestones that we don't really infuse with too much energy. They're hardly ever the intentions. So if we pick on everybody's favorite and we talk about, well, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, you probably won't, because there isn't really an intention behind it. It's just a number on a scale. It's really not that exciting. Now, if you have a wedding to go to in March and you would love to fit into that little black dress, or better yet, if you have a high school reunion and you want to show Karen how you are the best that you have ever been at your prime age of 50, and she, quite frankly, sucks. Now, that's intention.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
This is why I don't work in health and wellness, because I'm through. Anyway, so Molly, back to the point that you made.
Yeah.
What are the energetics behind the intention versus the goal setting?
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. Actually, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
When I sit down with a new client, and I mainly work with people in business, I ask them, what would you like? What do you want in your business? What do you think I get?
Oh, I would like to generate more income, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So guess what I do?
Oh my God, this is going to be good. Go for it.
I ask their Venmo account and I Venmo them $5. And when their phone goes ding, I said, would you be willing to give a review for me? Because I consider myself to be the most powerful and influential manifestation coach. You just said you want more money and you just got $5 in your Venmo.
Right.
So guess what happens then?
They get more specific, probably. Right?
I let them keep $5. but we do talk about what it means to set the intention and how do we get specific with what it is that we want. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me share the analogy that I usually bring up with my clients that tends to land this pretty solidly. Ready? Okay. I am guessing this episode is airing in February, so lots of people are going out or at least planning to go out on a date. Okay. So the intention is to rekindle your relationship. That's the feeling. That's the frequency. That is the vibration we're raising ourselves up to. Booking a reservation and driving to the restaurant are goals. Okay? There are little milestones that get you close to your intention. Now, when you get to the restaurant, the waiter comes up. What do they usually ask? What would you like?
What do you want to eat? Yeah.
What do you want to eat? Now, please tell me you don't sit there and go, I'd like chicken. I mean, I've been at dinners where the person would actually go like, well, I'm vegetarian, so I don't want this and I don't want that. And can you take away this? And I'm like, Toots, listen, the question was what it is that you would love.
Not what you don't.
Get with the program.
Yeah.
So preferably, you look at the menu and you choose the actual dinner choice, correct?
Right.
Now, if you truly would love that meal to be prepared to your liking, you probably will curate it a little further to say, let's say you're ordering steak. I would like my steak medium rare. Please hold on the mushrooms. And could I get a side of the dinner salad with balsamic vinegar? Okay, now we're pretty positive that you're going to get the dinner that you envisioned in your mind.
Right.
That is how universe works. Most of the time, we don't get what we want because we don't know what it is that we would love to order.
Yeah. So clarity is important there. Being specific is important.
It matters.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put you on a spot.
Come on, let's do it.
And we're not going to talk about chicken.
No, please
We
no.
are going to talk, though, about one very important intention that you were setting out for yourself in 2024.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with that?
Yes, I do. And we were working together. I set this intention last summer.
Uh-huh.
And I wrote it on a little note card and it goes on my wouldn't it be cool if board, which is just a little board like wouldn't it be cool if, and I have lots of little things in there on there. And one of them says, actually, I'm going to read it. 3 more speaking engagements between July and December. Okay. Because that's something that I want to do. I want to be speaking more. And so I was like, okay, can I get 3 more speaking engagements? And so I just set it up there. I kind of set the intention and I glance at it. You know, it's within my eye range. And I did book 3 more speaking engagements between July and December. But I learned something after I booked the 3rd one. I was like, well, first of all, I just manifested that. So that's really cool. So that intention setting is tied to manifesting for sure. But it was very generic. So what I actually booked were virtual events where I paid to speak, which is very common when you're starting out speaking, is to pay to get access to a stage, whether it is virtual or in person. So these were virtual stages that I was able to book. And what I discovered through doing these events and prepping for and doing the recording for and all of those kinds of things is that it didn't exactly hit the mark on what I wanted. So I did them and I was very grateful to have the opportunity to craft and hone my message and all of those things and get it out to people, which is very important to me. But in 2 of them, I had to record it ahead of time, and then during the virtual event, it was released on the platform. And what I found was that when I was doing the recording, I was recording to myself, like Molly on a Zoom, doing her talk, and recording it. And what I realized is that it didn't energize me the way it does, like even now, like when you and I are having a conversation or when I'm on a meeting with people for work, as an example, and everybody has their camera on. There's an exchange of energy that happens when you are eyeball to eyeball with somebody, whether it's on a computer or through a computer, or if you're on a stage or in person. And so I realized, well, I did set that intention. It did actually happen, but it isn't actually what I wanted because I wasn't specific enough. Same thing happened with the second event as well, where much shorter speaking event. And I had a lot of content. And I swear to God, I was speaking like Speedy Gonzalez. Like I was like, blah, 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 and had to get it done. But the exchange of energy, it was more draining than an exchange of energy. And so I realized, like, this is a good example. I actually do know what I want.
Wow.
But when I set that intention, I've got to be clear about that. I do think though, and I want you to speak to this, because in my head, when I am trying to set the intention or call something in, the fear is that if I'm too specific, that it won't materialize. Like if I can be general, right? Like I would like to earn more money. Well, yeah, Venmo me $5, right? I want 3 speaking events. Well, no, I actually want speaking events where I'm engaging with an audience, either virtual or on stage, talking about a message that I care about, that I'm passionate about, and not, something that's not related to the content that energizes me, right? So now I know being specific is really, really important. So
Love this. I could not have covered it any better. And I'm like, I know the answer to this question. So, first of all, I want to celebrate you because you set the intention and you have manifested speaking arrangements.
yes.
So, let's not just bulldoze over it and be like, yeah, okay, not what I wanted. Yes, universe, I want more of that and also.
Yes.
So, congratulations. That was a huge accomplishment.
Yes.
And also, going through that experience offered you a contrast, and contrasts are given to us to help grasp what it is that we would love. Okay? Now, to your question, how do I not get too specific so I constrict the flow of the energy? What you're thinking about is like, if I get too specific, what if it doesn't come through? That is usually if your specific becomes the how. I want to make $20,000. So I need to sign up 5 new clients by the end of January and charge them this much money and da 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 da.
Aha.
When we start fixating on those little hows, those are the details that we are dictating to the universe, saying either this or nothing.
Right.
The difference between that and what you're doing now, and actually, I want to talk about this situation in the context of your latest book.
Oh, yes.
Is you have shifted from the goals to the intention because you infused it with emotions. And this is always your safe bet, that as long as you're setting the intention and you're getting clear on how you want to feel with that intention achieved, then how you get to that feeling stage doesn't matter. You just let go of the how.
That's right. And that's hard. I think that's hard for women to let go of the how. I think generally we're doers, or at least me, rolling up my sleeves. It's like, all right, I'm going to figure out how to get it done. But it's very different to sit back and say, okay, what's the intention? What is it that I want to feel? What is it that I want to experience? And release the how. So,
yeah. So let's talk about how you did it with your book. So first of all, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. 2024 was kind of like a big deal for you.
Yeah, it was, a lot happened.
So your amazing book, What the Funk, was released. And I distinctly remember like 2 weeks before it became available on Amazon, we were having a conversation.
Yes.
And I said, my favorite question, Molly, what would you love? And what was your answer?
My answer was, I would love my book in the hands of thousands of people.
And I remember looking at you and going like, okay. like right out of parade, sister. And I was like, okay, and what would that do to you?
Yeah. You asked, like, what is that going to give you?
Uh-huh.
And so, like, I remember thinking, like, well, what is that going to give me? Well, what I really want to do is actually, I want to start speaking more about the topics in the book and about the experiences in the story and sharing the vulnerability and all of those things. That's really what I want. The book, I think, is a pathway or a channel or a resource to potentially get there. Right. So it wasn't that I wanted it in the hands of thousands of people. I do, like, it's an and also, it's not a either or. Right. So I do want my book in the hands of thousands of people because I believe it will help them live more purposeful, fulfilling lives. But it's the and also is, I want my book in the hands of people who have opportunities and are looking for speakers to come help people level up, personally and professionally, and show up as the best versions of themselves. That's what I'm looking for. So that intention, because, and here's the deal, and here's the feeling. I remember when we nailed this down, I was like, oh, that's it. That's it. Because the feeling of me being able to speak and share these things, like, you can tell, like, my vibration and my energy is just raising, just talking about it, right? I want more of that feeling in my life. And it equally energizes me and scares the bejesus out of me that I am looking to do more speaking, but that is what energizes and fills my cup. And so that is what I'm anchoring on, is that feeling.
There you go.
And getting very specific and trying to release the how.
Mm-hmm. Because truthfully, you don't know the how.
Yeah.
And I can
don't.
tell you that there is a person who is listening to this podcast probably going, I love her energy. I want to get her on my stage. But they're listening to this in February, right? And we're recording in January. Let's be real. Like, it takes a minute to polish this recording. We're amazing, but we're not that amazing. So the person who is going to get on that stage hasn't yet heard your story.
That's entirely possible.
But girlfriend, that person is born very real and just sits in your future. You just haven't aligned yet because, well, you're not in that future yet. We're bringing it into here and now, but it's in the future.
Yeah. So one of the ways that I keep that intention top of mind, because you set the intention, but for me, and this is an Ed Milet thing, like he says, touch your dream, revisit your dream and stuff like that. And I'm a huge Ed Milet fan. But one of the ways that I do that is I practice future gratitude. And this is something that you taught me last summer that has completely shifted my life. It actually is in my journal, The Next Best Step. Oh, look at you have yours. That's brilliant. So you can find The Next Best Step journal on Amazon. But one of the sections in there is about expressing future gratitude. So I'll pull open what I wrote this morning because it's in here. So gratitude for what is coming. And it says, I'm so grateful that paid speaking opportunities talking about my core topics are coming my way. Right. So that's the intention. That's the intention that I'm setting. So I'm expressing gratitude for it as if it has already arrived, even though it hasn't. In this practice, oh my gosh. I mean, countless times over the last, I don't know, 8 months, I've been able to go back and look at those future gratitude statements and check the boxes of things that have happened that I expressed gratitude for before they happened. So I think that's a powerful process, quite honestly. Oh Lord, what are you doing, girl?
Well, I was just going to show people that when you buy this journal, and actually, like, I need a new copy because mine is almost done.
I'll bring you one. I'm seeing you in a couple weeks.
And if you are. But literally, there are little check boxes that says gratitude for what's coming, because you can go back, revisit, and check it off.
Check the box. Brilliant.
Because whatever you're grateful for that is not in your physical reality just yet, it's on the way.
It's on the way. Okay, so I do the future gratitude statements, but what are some other things that we can do with your intentions once you set them?
I'm a big analogies girl. Like I tell stories because I feel like our brain remembers stories better. So probably just about everybody who listens to this podcast has gone on vacation at least once. If not, please do. Like this is your sign, go book your vacation.
Here you go.
How does it normally work? You decide who you want to go with and where you want to go to, right? Let's pretend it's, your significant other, or perhaps it's your girlfriends, or maybe you want to do a solo vacation. Love that for you. So you decide what it is that you want. You decide where you want to go. Then you go, you do your research, you book your vacation, you pull out your credit card or your debit card, you pay for it. Boom, it's done. You do not teleport there right away, right? Like nobody travels in time. Yet you surrender, you let go, you start enjoying the in between. That vacation might have been booked for 3, 4, 5, 6 a year ahead, but you don't actually obsess and fixate on being at that location. What you do is you go on with your day, right? And from time to time, like butterfly kisses, you think about your amazing time when you get there, right? You actually enjoy the in between. And as closer you get to the departure date, you start taking aligned actions. Like you order that bikini or 70, and you start trying on those outfits, and you pack your suitcase and you drive to the airport.
Yeah.
All that time you're enjoying that feeling of being in that vacation, toes in the sand, book in hand, just enjoying your time. This is exactly how you treat your intention. You get clear, you book it, meaning you decide this is what you want, you make that intention clear to the universe, and then surrender.
Yeah.
Do you know why surrendering is so important? And I'm going to put Molly on the spot because she knows so well why it's important.
Oh, yeah. Well, surrendering is releasing the resistance. Right.
Because when we are white knuckling that vision, that is usually because we don't really think it's possible, realistic, and achievable for us, right?
Right.
So if your fear of flying is so much greater than your desire to get to that destination, you're probably not going to book a Caribbean vacation unless you're Caribbean.
That's right.
So when you are starting to really fixate on the outcome, that is communicating to the universe the sense and the frequency of doubt.
Got it. Okay. So let's be clear here. So setting the intention with clarity and being specific is critical. So clarifying the intent, what it will give you, how it will make you feel, and letting go of the how. Now we've talked about this from an entrepreneurial point of view, but for those who are in a corporate role or in a traditional business role, let's talk about that as well. So I've got a little story around that. Many years ago, I set the intention that I wanted to be a C-level executive. And I didn't let go of the how, friends. I rolled up my sleeves and I grinded and I hustled for years and finally took a position at the C-level with a company. And it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
You didn't love it.
It did well. So I loved I absolutely adore the company, but the feeling that I got was not the feeling that I thought that I would get.
Interesting.
And the intention that I set, and the goal that I also set alongside it was getting that C-level title. Because again, for me, success for me back then was success in business, and that was like the pinnacle of success.
Totally
but I didn't.
relatable.
Yes, absolutely. And it didn't give me the feeling that I was desiring. And actually, I really felt quite a bit of misalignment, and you can read about more of that in my book. But it wasn't what I actually wanted, and I wasn't clear about that. So if you are a woman in business and you're thinking, I'm going for that promotion, or I'm going for this next thing, or I'm looking at a different company, first of all, the grass is never greener someplace else, Those of us who have been in corporate America for a while know that. However, to be very specific about what it is you want to feel, the role that you want to play, the influence that you want to have, the impact on the world that you want to have, or that company or what have you, but getting really anchored in how you think that's going to make you feel, how you want to feel, in letting go of the how, and then just taking the aligned actions as they come, as they present themselves, I think is a better way to get to what it is you are trying to create in your life. So, Lena, let's talk about a little bit more about releasing the how, because I know our listeners, primarily women, have a hard time releasing the how. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and also to clarify, when Molly and I talk about releasing the how, we're not telling you to sit down and do nothing, right? It's not about just taking a seat and expecting universe to deliver whatever it is that you're dreaming about. Like, that is not manifestation. That is daydreaming. That is the difference between the unicorn and the working horse, right? Like, very different creatures.
Right.
But I would say probably the easiest and the shortest way to start practicing the release is to, first of all, become aware. Like, what is that sponsoring thought in the back of your mind? Are you literally betting on it is possible, totally achievable? I've seen others do it. It just means it's on a way. If she can do it, I can do it. Or are you more in the camp of, I wasn't born for this. I don't have what it takes. I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm a woman, I'm this, I'm that. And there are more excuses as to why it's not on your radar, why it's not possible. That is usually a good indicator that you're experiencing the resistance. Okay. So first, become aware. What is your sponsoring thought? Because that sponsoring thought is your dominant frequency, and that is what universe is reading. Okay. The second step is focus on what you want. Okay. There are too many times when we become aware of a limiting thought, we continue thinking it. And the limiting belief is nothing more than a practiced thought. So what you need to do is you need to shift your focus. Think of it this way. When you are cold, what do? You focus on getting warm. So you get a jacket, you get a coat, you start a fireplace, you drink hot tea. You're not kind of like going further and further into hyperthermia. You're actually shifting your focus on how it is to be warm. Okay. So that's how you shift your focus. And then last but not the least is face it. It is okay to realize that you might be experiencing a resistance, and it's timely to just sit, unpack, and really kind of look it in the eyes, because we're usually mostly afraid of the ambiguity.
Right. Okay, friends. Well, I hope that this has been really helpful for you, talking about intention setting, getting very specific, and don't be scared to be specific about that intention, the energetics behind it, how it ties to manifestation, and how you can apply this in your life so that you can take your next best step towards a life by design. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us on the Momentum Podcast today.
We hope this episode inspired you to take your next best step toward building your life by design.
Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and hit that notification bell if you're watching us on YouTube at Momentum Podcast Live.
If you love what you heard, we'd be so grateful if you'd leave us a 5-star review. It helps us reach more amazing people like you and share this content far and wide.
You can also connect with us anytime at contact@momentumpodcast.live for questions, feedback, or just to say hi.
Keep designing the life you want, step by step.
And we'll be here to cheer you on. See you next time on the Momentum Podcast.